Today we are going to be doing some more speculating. We've had rectangulars, leaks, we speculated on some of those. Now we're kind of branching out into our own stuff. We're going back to the retro Fantastic Four card because I don't think that it's totally rounded out. I think we could get a few more on that. So today we're going to speculate on what those could be in the future. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. I'm your host Dakota, here with my co-host Jordan, and today we are speculating on what else could come out on the Fantastic Four retro card. We talked about Ghost Rider, we talked about Iron Man. I think the retro card is one of people's favorites, and I think kind of having the theme is kind of another step above even I've got the new Moon Knight on the retro card, which I think is way cooler than the Walgreens exclusive. It's the same figure, but different packaging. This displays better. So we're going to stay within the realm of Fantastic Four. Probably animated series, maybe those Toy Biz figures, maybe even just a general Fantastic Four character. But we have 10 of them so far. So we've got the 4... We've got the 2 exclusive. We've got the Human Torch and Invisible Woman. We've got Firelord and Doctor Doom. Is that it? Was there only 8? I think that's it.
High Evolutionary and
High Evolutionary
Psycho-Man?
and Psycho Man. Yep.
Or
10.
not? Yeah, Psycho Man.
I was right. Good call, Jordan. So I don't think there's going to be a ton more of these, but they've got the card, so if it's...
There might be room for a few more.
So, all right, I'll open it up to you first, Jordan. I've got my list. I went back. I looked at the cartoon. I looked at the Toy Biz figures. But what are you thinking for some retro card figures?
Right off the bat, I'm thinking about Mole Man.
Yep.
What is that toy? Was that Hasbro?
It was Hasbro. Yeah.
The other one?
Yeah, I think it was.
Is that a Wave?
I think it was Ronin Wave, possibly.
Okay. I've had him
Maybe
before,
T-Rex.
And yeah, he's kind of more of a statue. I could see them doing a little more articulation, but maybe you throw in some moloids or something with them to round it out a bit.
I feel like you could even use those little demons that are coming with the new King Spawn. Those look like just little not like. I feel like his moloids are a little bit bigger, but
yeah. Hey Todd, I know you didn't sell many of those. Yeah. I think Mole Man is definitely, because when I guess it was a little bit ago, but I remember selling it for like 50 or so. So, yeah. I mean, I have to imagine they can make a cheaper Mole Man that people would want. That would look cool on the retro card.
I mean, that's got to be like almost a guarantee coming out at some point, because whether it's retro card or a Build-A-Figure wave, I would say that's got to be a top 5 of Fantastic Four villains, if not top 3. Like Doctor Doom is obviously number 1, and then you've got there's not really
Mole
another
Man, of course, in the first issue.
Exactly.
He's first guy there. So,
but
that would be a note.
I will say, Jordan, maybe you're wrong, and it's not going to be on a retro card. Maybe it's going to be in a HasLab.
Oh,
we're going to get the big
giant
monster. Yeah.
Oh, you think so?
I don't think we would get that. I really don't think so. But that would be cool. I wouldn't buy it, but I would like to see it.
Maybe like what we've talked about. I don't know if we've quite branded it, but it's like a specialty deluxe. Not quite a HasLab. Not a regular thing. Somewhere in there.
Right.
It's where they get their Mephisto enthroned, that kind of stuff. A little specialty item.
Yes.
That would be cool, actually. So, I doubt that would happen, but that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mole Man. I go right to an Annihilus, but I don't know how that would work. He would probably... How would you do that?
I put him on my list as kind of a
Haven't there
tentative.
been other versions of him, too, though, that aren't quite...
Yeah, maybe more of the drone type of... Because doesn't he have kind of Annihilus, robot insect things?
I think he's had some other appearances, so I don't know if he would necessarily look exactly like... I guess the Toy Biz one is pretty Or wait, no, that's Hasbro.
That's Hasbro. So that was like one of their first
early
waves.
Hasbro.
Yeah.
I keep thinking it's that gray area between
Yeah.
Toy Biz and Hasbro. So I definitely think they could update that. I just don't know if it would be in the context of a retro card.
Yeah, because they did have on that old Toy Biz, like what the retro card is based off of. That series did have an Annihilus. But I do like how Hasbro did their Build-A-Figure, where it's a little bit bigger, had the huge wingspan. It makes me think it could be more of a 2-pack.
Yeah.
Or we've kind of talked about the idea of having the deluxe-sized retro card for the Fantastic Four because they don't have that yet. X-Men and Spider-Man does. So it seems like they could do it for Fantastic Four.
Yeah, you'd probably just pack in the wings behind them or something, and then.
Yeah, I think so. But and then
I could see that.
It seems like they like to do those wings, like it would probably be similar to the Venom wings. So that makes me think it would be in like a windowless box where you don't see that it's taken apart. Because I know when we talked to Todd about the dragon, he was saying there's those challenges of when you don't have the figure fully assembled in the windowed box. People are like, oh, I don't want that. It's broken, or you can't get like the full effect. So you just show a picture of the full effect, and there's some assembly required, you know?
Yeah. So I could see that. I think those would be two pretty obvious bad guys that are pretty iconic. I don't know what the context of this would be. I know people like Impossible Man.
Yep, I put him on my list too.
They did him in one of those like offshoot lines.
Yeah.
Was he packed in with somebody? Or was he on his own? I'm trying to remember.
I think he was on his own. That was during the like kind of
like,
the Spider-Man classics, Fantastic Four classics. It kind of you got the Dragon Man was in that wave too. And that Dragon Man has got to be one of the most expensive Marvel Legend adjacent figures on the market right now. So I thought he would be a good idea for the deluxe retro card, is having finally another Dragon Man, because there's tons of people that would love that. So it would be more tooling and stuff, I guess, for Hasbro, but also at the same time, you would just everything goes on clearance now, but that one I could see not being much stock left for clearance. So, but Impossible Man's a good idea too, because he also I think came in that old Toy Biz packaging.
So, am I just getting as many as I can?
No, I can take some.
Okay. I've got a couple more I could think of, but you.
Okay, so
what you're thinking.
The last deluxe would kind of mention this in previous episodes. Would be getting a reissue of the Blastar, because I think they also did a Toy Biz version of him on that old card. But those were all kind of the same size. I think they would need to go more the deluxe, because we only got that in that, whatever that was, that Imperative box set. And again, I don't think that one's nearly as high as Dragon Man, but it is on the higher side of Legend figures right now. Like, I'm pretty positive it's over $100 to get that guy. But not super popular, so that's where I think Dragon Man would be number one on that deluxe box set. And then maybe Blastar and Annihilus, I do think is probably more of a 2-packer.
2-packer.
Yeah. So we've already gotten 2 versions of Human Torch in this retro card, but I would like another, and I want it to be more of the like crimson red with the like yellow like flames on it, you know, like much more retro,
the translucent look.
Yeah,
like the Toy Biz look.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
I still have at least one of those.
I can't remember if I think I might have sold mine. Yeah, those were
cool. Yeah, like where he's got like the black lines on him and stuff, and it looks very like comic book art.
Yes, I want the black lines. I want the bright yellows.
That wouldn't even be hard because they already have like the mold. You would just different deco, I guess.
But. And like, I don't even necessarily need the flames to be sculpted. Like, those could just be like painted on there. So that seems like it would be an easy thing for Hasbro to do. It's just, are we going to get another Human Torch? Because there's the non-flamed or like transitioning flame on Johnny Torch. So maybe that's not super possible, but if we've got 2 Invisible Womans, 2 Johnny Storm Human Torches, if we got 2 things, where this next thing comes with the same kind of lab coat that Beast comes with. Give him a brown trench coat, maybe a hat even. Or maybe an alternate head where the head is sculpted on there.
Shades.
That'd probably be better. I think that would be a cool... Because Toy Biz did a trench coat in just the regular line, and I think they did another trench coat one in the box set, didn't they?
I'm trying to remember. I remember I had that Fantastic Four one, the box set. I don't know if he came with a trench coat.
I think there was two versions of it.
There might have been.
Yeah. Because I think there was one where Doctor Doom came with the mask and one Doctor Doom came without the mask, maybe. Maybe you guys can let me know. Maybe I'm talking crazy and I'm just mixing all my action figures together. But I'm almost positive that there was two versions of that box set. So
very well could be.
I think that would be cool. Because it would... I mean, I don't know if that would... If the trench coat that they have for Beast would fit on him.
Yeah.
But it probably wouldn't take... It wouldn't need to be much bigger. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be a cool touch. Yeah. Give him a sculpted head, like you said, with the shades, hat.
That's a pretty iconic look, too. So that would make sense. Justify.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Another one we've mentioned before, I think She-Hulk in her Fantastic Four uniform. People would love that. And I don't know if she was ever in the Fantastic Four when she was on the show, but I'm pretty sure She-Hulk was on the show.
Oh, like at least featured on the show.
Yeah. I know there was some action figure where she was dressed as like Fantastic Four stuff, but I don't remember for sure. But either way, people want more of that classic look for She-Hulk. So that would be good. One that I don't really want, but it would be easy for Hasbro to do, would be Puppet Master. Oh, yes. Trading card binder.
Oh, there you go.
Bring out the Retro Fantastic Four here. We got Invisible Woman versus Puppet Master here. So if it's in the trading cards, it's got to be in the figures too. Another weird one that we've never gotten before is a Trapster. So I think that would be kind of fun in that same vein as McFarlane just recently did the Condiment King. I kind of see them as like very similar. Interchangeable almost. Is there any more from here? Oh, yeah. Seems like the Wizard plays a big part in the cartoon. And I don't think we've gotten him, have we?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah.
Because he's part of, I remember, the Frightful Four, right? Where they're kind of like the...
Who else is in that?
I think it's Wizard. Wasn't it Paste Pot Pete? He's like another D-lister. That would be funny. I feel like they may have had different iterations, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think they've had kind of rotating
it seems
loser
like...
members, but like Titania, I think, is on. I remember her kind of fighting them.
This says Medusa was on the Frightful Four.
That sounds right.
Does it say who else was on here? No. But I think people would want a new Medusa. I know they want more Inhumans. They definitely want a Lockjaw.
I was going to say, do we include Inhumans in this, or would that be something else?
I mean, I think... I don't know. That's a good point, because they would probably come out more in like a regular card or like a... Build-A-Figure.
Yeah. Well, it'd probably be hard for them to choose, because it's like if you do a couple Inhumans, then people are going to want all of them on that retro card, which I guess they could keep that going, but I doubt we'd get like, here's all your Inhumans on the Fantastic Four retro card at once.
Yeah, because I was looking through like the list of characters that show up in the show, and you've got like obviously Medusa, Triton, Gorgon. Those are all Inhumans. Atuma also shows up on the show, and I've heard a lot of people wanting a comic version of him. I just kind of doubt that that's super likely. I feel like that would be more in like a regular Build-A-Figure or 2-pack, like something outside of this line. Same with Crystal. I feel like that's going to be a lot of people like, oh, you got to have Crystal. She's part of the Fantastic Four. It doesn't seem like she's a huge role in the show. I haven't watched the show since I was super young, so I had to go back and kind of Google. Let's see. I think the last
Guess
one I
saying
have.
Tuma.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say Namor, but
yeah,
we've already got several Namors.
Yeah, I think I would say that's likely if we hadn't just gotten that Savage Namor coming out in the Void Wave. But if we didn't, then I would probably be thinking about him being on like a pinless body, like the classic Namor, just pinless. So
yeah. I feel like that would make sense for an update though, because I mean, I think I don't know if I still have that older Namor, but I remember thinking it would be cooler if he was a little bit more articulated. So
yeah, because I don't think that one had butterfly joints or anything.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, so I could see him getting put on the Vulcan body, maybe. That makes sense. Yeah, I think he would be a Vulcan kind of body. And then the last one I had is kind of like this would make sense to have on the retro card versus other waves. I don't know how to say her name. Lya, Leia. Is that
what was it? Lya?
Lya, yeah. It's
Remind me who that is.
It's the scroll that I can't remember if Johnny Storm is dating her. I think
Johnny's they like have a romance or something. Yeah.
So
yes,
I think that would make sense because if they're putting out the scroll, we got to this. No, we didn't get the scroll head for Giant Man. We got the zombie head. All right, well, I may retract my statement there. If we had gotten the scroll head, it would make sense that they would want to put out some more scrolls. But it still would make, I don't know. As far as like retro cards, I don't think they did a figure of her, and they've never done one. Hasbro Toy Biz has never done one for sure. So it'd be kind of one of those more obscure characters that I think would be cool to get. And I think the retro card would be a good place for her. So I think that completes my list of everything I kind of looked up. I think out of the ones,
you know what I know, Dakota. I'm gonna wish for a Doombot, speak it into existence.
That's true. You do need a Doombot.
I just think there are a lot of cool, because he's had so many variations of Doombots. I don't know if it would be, but I don't know. I mean, for what they are, those Toy Biz ones still hold up pretty well as Doombots.
Yeah.
I would even go for it. I mean, I guess they've already done Doctor Doom. I just feel like they could do Doctor Doom better than they've done.
Yeah.
I don't know how exactly. The tooling is tough with all the capes and cloaks and whatnot. I've just never quite...
No, I agree.
Both the retro and the Super Scroll Wave. I like them. I have them both. But neither of them for me are like, this is my Doctor Doom, you know?
Yeah. I feel like you're going to need a Mafex Doctor Doom to be happy.
Yeah.
I still want you to
get
with
the real metal.
Yeah, I want you to get the one with the Mafex one. But
Mafex.
Well,
Mafex or Mezco?
I think you would be happier with the Mafex one because it would fit into the line more. But Mezco actually has one that's coming out soon.
Yeah, that's right.
So
we'll see. Doctor Doom is that iconic enough character that I think he'd be worth the investment in a more top shelf version.
Because I think like you said, the cloak is a little underwhelming when it's the molded plastic, and not that Doctor Doom is like getting into like Spider-Man poses or anything, but he's doing those kind of like spell casting things, and you kind of want that wired cape to have more of that dynamic flair with him. So,
little billow.
He would be one I would consider as a Mezco. Him and maybe, because I think Doctor Strange is the same way. I think the one we've got is pretty good. I think him, he seems almost more like he doesn't have to have a super dynamic cape with his spell casting. It's like he almost magically has it like perfectly in place. Where Doctor Doom is going to be a little bit more like wild and crazy with his magic. That's how I would display him anyway.
I'm trying. Are you finished with your list?
Yeah, that was all.
I have a couple more I thought of.
Go ahead.
I know we've talked previously about Red Ghost.
Yes.
I could see him in some capacity. Because I think he more specifically has fought the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And then you know what I know, Dakota. I want my Super Apes. But then they'd have to... Maybe that'd be another deluxe super packaging. Also, Willie Lumpkins, the mailman for the Fantastic Four. He was kind of like in that time period, I think they were trying to do sort of a Jarvis thing.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of their kind old man who hangs out, delivers their mail, and gets into wacky situations.
Yeah.
I could see that being sort of a fun type figure. Doubt it would happen.
We get like a multi-pack of Jarvis, Willie.
Willy Wonka.
I don't know who some of the other ones would be, but
just all the personal,
like janitors.
Uncle Ben.
And
Give me my Uncle Ben in there.
Uncle Ben.
Like the geriatric Men of Marvel 3-pack.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That would be
I'm
fun.
trying to think. I just always get this feeling when we do these that as soon as someone's going to comment, be like, duh, you forgot about. And I'll be like, oh, I should have thought of that.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty good attempt at rounding out what that line would be.
Yeah. I think.
I'm sure. I mean, I guess you could always have them be like another Silver Surfer or something.
Yeah, I thought about that too, because he's pretty iconic, and then just having him on that retro card, I could see a lot of people wanting him to display sealed that way, because the only other one, like, you're not going to display the HasLab one sealed. That isn't really for him. Yeah. The other ones are in the regular, like, Build-A-Figure type of, even though they're not Build-A-Figures.
Mm-hmm.
So
I really don't think I'd even be mad if they did a Silver Surfer like that. I think that one would make sense. Like
do you have a Silver Surfer?
I think so. I think I have the. Pretty sure I have the Walgreens one still.
Okay, I couldn't remember if you kept it or not.
I think I did.
Yeah, I sold that one and kept the HasLab one. I ended up liking that one more, and I still have the old Hasbro one that's been sitting on the.
Yeah, I have him too.
Like, almost.
He's fun.
I was watching like a clip of the old Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, and like when Human Torch is like chasing him through the city and stuff, and he like goes under his board, like stands up on it, and just like it was just. Does he ever do that in the comics where he like phases through the bottom of his board?
Actually, looking back, I'd like to kind of rewatch those. I remember, I think I've seen those clips, and I do think Silver Surfer was kind of cool in that movie.
I mean, he was way cooler than Galactus.
Oh.
Galactus was just, that's every
Space
superhero movie thinks that they're like, oh, we're going to put this big villain in here, and it's a space cloud. And I hate the space cloud. Like
I feel like that was like an era, though.
Parallax.
This is the last
they just
time
did
you
it with
saw
Loki.
Space cloud.
Loki had whatever it was a
Goliath?
giant. Yeah, Goliath. So it's not. I hate the space cloud. If there's a space cloud, it just almost destroys the movie for me. Like, I could understand back in the day, like, yeah, you probably couldn't get Galactus as like a very well put together entity with CGI.
I'm still wondering how MCU, because they're gonna, I think, try to pull off a comic accurate Galactus. But
I hope they do, and I hope they pull it off.
It's gonna be so hard for people to take seriously.
That's true. Like, all the nerds really want to see it, but then anybody that doesn't really care about the stuff to begin with, and they go to watch movies just to watch the movies, it is a little bit ridiculous. But maybe that's the Celestials will warm them up to the thing of big cosmic.
But even then, like, Celestial, it's like this is just a dude with like I don't know, man. Especially they're talking about casting Antonio Banderas as a rumor. So I cannot take Puss in Boots as Galactus seriously.
No. I don't get that. That's terrible.
But that can be a whole nother.
Speaking of casting, Jordan, since we're on the Fantastic Four, you want to do a little...
right. Yeah.
We know Mr. Fantastic and Human Torch, and that's it, right?
I don't think they haven't technically confirmed those.
Oh, okay.
But, yes, the recent news of the past week or so was Pedro Pascal being allegedly locked down for Mr. Fantastic.
And how do you feel about that?
I don't think we've really talked about that.
No, we haven't. How do you feel about it, Jordan?
I guess for me, like, I think he's a good actor. I just, of the pool that they were looking at, there were some others that I was more interested in. It just, to me, feels like that's kind of a lazy choice. It's just like, who's popular right now? Oh, yes. Pedro Pascal, let's throw him in there. And it's like, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, part of me was hoping, not that they do, like, Ultimate's teenage Reed Richards, but I think Pedro Pascal's like 48. So, like, if you're gonna get, I was hoping they would maybe go with someone with a little more longevity. Did you ever watch You guys watch You?
No.
Okay.
Me?
Penn Badgley. I like You, me, you know what I'm talking about.
I
I'm
do
gonna
know
do
what
that Fox News bit.
Yeah.
But I thought he would have been good. I think there were some other. I guess of the names they were looking at though, like they were talking about getting Jake Gyllenhaal,
That would have
which
been
I
weird.
was like, that would have made no sense, especially since he's already been Mysterio.
Right. Like technically not MCU, but still like don't cross over like that.
Yeah. And then they were talking about Adam Driver.
Yeah.
I could see that one maybe.
I would prefer that, honestly. I also think he's, not that I know him personally, but I think he's a little overhyped.
Well, I guess for me, what I think would be cool with Reed, and what was cool about the MCU, for the most part, I think, has been when they had, at least in like the early part, when you casted the character, it was very few times was it, I sat down and I thought, oh, that's so-and-so.
Right, exactly.
You know, like it was cool to see Robert Downey Jr., Obviously, like it's hard for me now to see him as people other than Tony Stark.
Right.
But whenever I was watching it, I bought into like this is Tony Stark. Like some part of me feels like I'm just going to be like, oh, that's Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards, not because I think enough people, like even the fact that I've been pretty interested that there's been so much like hype or discussion or rumors that I don't think you necessarily need a huge name to sell Fantastic Four.
I agree.
So that to me, if they do end up with Pedro Pascal, I guess it could be worse, but I'm also feeling... How would you have felt if they'd kept John Krasinski?
I would have loved it. I
actually would have...
Because especially cool. If we're building to like a reset, like just keep him on for another like movie or two, and like it is obviously like a fan casting type of, they're like doing a nod to the fans with that. But I think that worked. Like it was super fun to see him on screen. I would like to have seen him more because I think he could play that kind of arrogant, smart guy.
Right.
Where, I don't know, I guess Pedro Pascal could do it too, but it's just, I don't know what the age is for, but John Krasinski looks much younger, but he looks like an adult version of, like you said, not the teenage, like just got his powers. But then with Pedro Pascal, like the only way I could see you kind of putting that together with him being 48, unless they're going to say like Reed Richards is going into space at 48 and coming back as Mr. Fantastic. But I could see it more of like they're going in there in their early 20s and it's kind of that like cosmic space stuff they get caught in, almost like traps them in time, and then they get sent back to Earth after like the Thanos snap and stuff like that. Because otherwise, if he's been Mr. Fantastic this whole time, it's kind of like what we've talked about with Eternals, where it's like, what were you guys doing this whole time when half the universe is getting snapped out of existence? So I could see it being more of like a time trapped and then brought back down, and here you are. But yeah, I don't love him. I just can't imagine a stretched out Pedro Pascal. Right?
Well, I guess what I'm also saying, and again, not to do the whole like age thing, but he's just about the same age as Ewan Rufford, who played Miss Fantastic in the early 2000s movies, which I actually remember thinking he was pretty good. And I was rewatching some clips, and I thought he sold Reed Richards pretty well.
I do
which
too.
I'm like you said, at this point, if we're dealing in this multiverse thing, you could just theoretically get him back at that. You know, it's not like, oh, we had to get rid of him because we needed a younger actor, because you didn't get a younger actor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess, unless they do some kind of like in the comics where they have like the Council of Reeds, and then you have like John Krasinski, him, Pedro Pascal. Yeah. That could be kind of interesting and funny, but that might be too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I almost...
Make Pedro Pascal more of the maker instead of Mr. Because then he's got the whole helmet on again, and it's just, you know, it's Pedro Pascal, but it's another
it's like
helmet.
It's in his contract now. I need to have a helmet.
This is the way.
This is the way. I just want to do the dubs. Pedro Pascal did the dub.
That's funny.
But I don't know. I mean, there's whole other rumors too. I don't know how much you've been keeping up with some of the other.
I saw that they had kind of said Johnny Storm was somebody. I didn't know who the actor was, though, from Stranger Things.
Joseph Quinn, the Stranger Things guy. The one guy they were talking about for Ben Grimm was supposed to be the guy who... Did you watch The Punisher on Netflix? The guy who played Micro.
I don't know who that was.
Microchip, remember his like sidekick kind of buddy?
Oh.
He's like his tech guy.
He was supposed to be Ben Grimm?
That's the rumor.
Interesting.
Again, not confirmed. This is the other one, though, is Doctor Doom. They're supposed to be circling Mads Mikkelsen, who played Caecilius in Doctor Strange.
Why do they want to double up like that?
Which again, I'm like, he would have been a great Doctor Doom,
right?
But it's you can't like, what's going on?
There's
like,
got to be more people out there,
right? Exactly, like the Chris Evans thing, where it's like, oh, he played Human Torch and then his Cap, makes sense,
right?
But to be like within the MCU, we're going to recast actors that had significant roles in other. It's
no,
I don't get it.
Like I get because they did that with one of the chicks from the Kree, that blue girl, and then she played somebody else later.
Yeah, Eternals.
Yeah,
but again, I think she had like 2 lines in.
Right, you're taking a side character and making them something a little bit more important versus the main villain is now going to be the other main villain. No, I don't like that. But I agree. He would have been a good Doctor Doom if they would have just done that. But there's a lot of other good Doctor Dooms. Like, I honestly think Pedro Pascal could be a decent Doctor Doom, too.
I've heard a lot of people saying, I hope the rumors mixed up and he's actually tapped for Doom, which I think could be cool. Because I think it would be cool to see him play more of a bad guy in these movies. And then you could have him be kind of like a little older than whoever Reed Richards maybe is, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Who's I don't know any actors' names hardly, but the kind of the main villain from Mandalorian. Because I feel like
Moff Gideon, you mean?
Yeah,
Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah,
yeah,
he's a great bad guy.
Right. I feel like they would have casted him as like a Doctor Doom or something like that because he's not in any Marvel movies, right?
No, I've heard his name come up in the context of either Professor X or Magneto.
Yeah, I would almost because, like you said,
I heard a cool fan cast that said, I don't know which order would be, but either him or Denzel Washington in alternating Professor X or Magneto roles, which I think could be kind of cool. Okay. I'd love to see Denzel get in the MCU.
That would be cool.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah, because I would like to. I think I would almost put Denzel as Magneto, because, like you said, whatever his name is a good villain. But I would like to see how he does as a Professor X. Because honestly, I've kind of liked how they make Professor X as he's like a super good guy, but he's also like training these kids to be like warriors in his war, where it's kind of like there's like some moral ambiguity there.
He makes some questionable decisions.
Right. So
I think that's more interesting than just he's just the benevolent, can't do anything wrong. Yeah. Headmaster guy. I feel like the MCU would want to shake that up too. So
that's pretty good.
I don't know, man.
We've gone a little off of the retro Fantastic Four, but the fans, they love to hear us talk. Maybe not as much as we love to hear us talk, but they're here if they are. So
right. If you come this far.
All right. So for commenting, what did we miss on the retro card Marvel Legends? And what is your fan cast for the Fantastic Four? Because I don't know. I think there's some better people out there than Pedro Pascal for Mr. Fantastic. It's just me. He'll probably do fine. If we're only having him for a couple movies, what does it matter anyway? It's all going to end soon.
I'll vote for Dakota.
I
feel like we might get some comments about that.
I would happily.
There's usually somebody
anything.
who casts you in things, I think.
That's
I don't know
true.
Who that is.
Yeah.
It's the same person if you're paying him.
I'm not paying anybody. Maybe once we blow up a little bit bigger, I'll start paying some fans. Just really gas us up in the comments and troll Jordan.
Make fun of Jordan. Would you?
You're oozing charisma, Jordan.
Please stop. Too much.
All right. Make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing. Comment. Let us know. What did we miss? Who's your cast? Go get yourself a Strong Collectors t-shirt and stay strong.